Dear friends and my dear students, myself Dr. P.K. Verma, in continuation with our discussions in biotechnology, today I shall discuss various methods by which DNA is inserted into a host cell. Gene cloning or even the formation of transgenic species of plants and animals needs a technology of insertion of gene into the host cell. There are so many methods for insertion of genes, for introducing a DNA vector into host cells. Transformation and transduction techniques are commonly used in bacteria. But nowadays, microinjection technique and the microprojectile technique or the gene gun are being used to introduce genes into eukaryote cells. You have already been taught about the transformation reaction. It was at first discovered by Griffith in 1928. He worked on Diplococcus pneumoniae, now known as Streptococcus pneumoniae. When a naked DNA molecule is left in a culture medium of bacteria such as Streptococcus pneumoniae, Bacillus subtilis, or Haemophilus influenzae, which have the competence factors present on the cell surface, one of the two strands of DNA is transferred into host cell. Other bacteria do not undergo transformation reaction. The competent species have competence factors, and this factor includes DNA translocase and DNase enzyme or the nuclease enzyme. One strand of DNA is hydrolyzed by DNase to provide energy for translocation, and the enzyme DNA translocase moves another strand into the host cell. So out of the two strands in the normal DNA, double-stranded DNA, any one is hydrolyzed and another is transferred into the host cell. Later on, its complementary will be made in the host cell itself. Now see diagrammatically, in a culture medium, a number of molecules of the alien DNA or the selected gene is mixed in the culture medium. A few of them enter into the host cell. Here a single strand enters into the host cell and it multiplies into double-stranded DNA. Now there are two chances. In one chance, the host cell's enzyme degrades the external DNA and there is no future, that is, the transformation is unsuccessful. In another case, the alien DNA has become integrated into the host cell and it becomes the part of host cell's genome, and therefore it will multiply along with the normal genes in the chromosome. E. coli, which is the most widely used bacterial host for both cloning vectors and expression vector, has no competence factor. So how transformation occurs in them? When it is cultured in a liquid medium, the culture contains 50 millimole calcium chloride and incubated for 12 to 24 hours. its membrane becomes permeable for the vector and transformation occurs within a few minutes after adding the recombinant vector. So the pore is created in the E. coli. However, the frequency of transformation is 1 per 10,000 plasmid molecule. Special strains of E. coli and special devices are being developed to increase the frequency to as high as 50 times. In fact, the smaller DNA have higher rate of transformation than larger DNA, and the fragments containing 30,000 base pairs or more do not cause transformation in bacteria. Now let us discuss the mechanism during transformation in Bacillus subtilis. The uptake machinery is preferentially located at the cell poles. The epsilon prepilin, it is a protein, are processed by the peptidase and translocase to the outer surface of membrane. With the aid of the other COMG protein, the major scipilin COMGC assembles into a scipilus, which attaches exogenous DNA via a hypothetical DNA binding protein. So, at least 2 complex proteins are responsible for binding of the exogenous DNA on the surface of the cell. Retraction of the scipilin driven by the proton motive pump or proton motive force and DNA binding to the receptor forms COM-EA are required to transport one strand of DNA through the membrane channel. Membrane channel is named here COM-EC, while the other is degraded by an unidentified nuclease. Probably it is DNase. Now see what happens. This complex protein forms receptor for the binding of the exogenous DNA. Now with the help of a nuclease, one of the two strands are degraded. Here are the degradation, and the second strand enters into the host cell. Now when it enters, the complementary strand is synthesized on this single strand template using the single strand binding protein here and the enzymes needed for replication, and therefore this double stranded DNA is formed. Here PMF is proton motive force. This is proton motive force. EA receptor, EC membrane channel, and FA is translocase. The helicase or DNA translocase associated here as the abbreviation COM-FA assists the process along with single-stranded DNA binding proteins that interact with the incoming single-stranded DNA. And REC-A forms a filament around the single-stranded DNA and mediates a research for homology with chromosomal DNA. When the homologous site is found, it becomes attached therein. Now come to the second method, it is called transduction. Transduction is done with the help of a viral particle. The bacteriophage-like lambda phages are frequently being used to insert recombinant DNA into the host cell. It is a lysogenic bacteriophage, that is a natural virus that frequently invades into bacterial cell and integrates its own DNA into the host cell DNA. For many generations, this viral DNA or prophage multiplies with the host chromosome, but suddenly it can separate and act as lytic bacteriophage. As it is a lysogenic bacteriophage, it becomes inserted into the host chromosome and forms prophage. So the insertion is because of certain factor present in its DNA. The DNA insert replicates along with the main chromosome, though at a lower speed, but insertion is certain. The region of DNA that controls lysis is either fully or partly replaced by the DNA insert. That means the factor or gene that controls separation of the viral DNA and formation of new generation of virus is damaged, is partially or fully replaced while forming the DNA vector, that is cosmid. But the cohesive segment is used forming a cosmid. So once it is integrated into host chromosome, it cannot separate. A cosmid is a type of hybrid plasmid that contains a lambda phage cos sequence. They are often used as a cloning vector and can be used to build genomic library. So because of this cos site, integration of the exogenous DNA into the host cell's chromosome is certain. Now in this photograph, you have been shown that this particular site forms the cos gene, that is a cohesive site through which it becomes integrated into host cell's chromosome. The other site contains a number of restriction endonucleases such as EcoR1, BAMH1, EcoR1, again the CLA1 and HIND3. The selectable marker is ampicillin resistance gene and the origin of replication. So except this cos site, all other sites are similar to the normal plasmid vector. This model is PJB8, a cosmid called P, that is derived from plasmid JB8. Now the third method is the direct injection of DNA sample into the host cell nucleus. It is known as microinjection technique. Now some microinjections have been made which can inject the recombinant DNA molecule directly into the nucleus of eukaryotic cell in a tissue culture medium. The microinjection is made by making a fine jet tube or pulling the tip of micropipette into a needle as thin as 0.1 to 0.5 micrometer in diameter. Normally jet is prepared by heating a part of the glass tube and drawing the two sides away very gently so that a very thin thread-like structure is formed and finally it is broken. Its tip is broken to form a injectable needle. The dividing cells are held on the tip of another pipette fitted with a low pressure suction pump. This another pipette is the holding pipette. It has a blunt tip. A piston of glass rod is made to push the gene directly into host cell. and then the cell is grown into callus or embryo in culture medium for further use. For producing a transgenic mouse or cattle, the following method has been adopted. The female is superovulated by injecting LH and the ova are collected. Fertilization is conducted in vitro, that is in test tube or a petri dish, and a transgene containing solution is injected into male pronucleus using a micro injection or micropipette. Why male pronucleus? Because it is haploid. The female pronucleus is not haploid, and second polar body will be removed from it in later stage. Thereafter, the female pronucleus and male pronucleus both will fertilize together, fuse with together. The fertilized eggs are incubated for 24 hours to get the two-cell stage, and the egg cell is implanted in the uterus of a pseudo-pregnant female. Who is the pseudo-pregnant female? A pseudo-pregnant female is the female that was inseminated with a vasectomized male previous night. By this method, the gene of rat growth hormone could be successfully introduced into zygote of mice, and a giant mouse could be produced. That is, a transgenic mouse was produced. This is the holder pipette with a blind end. It has attachment of a low power suction pump so that the cell can stick on its surface. Now a micro injection is used. It is directly introduced up to nucleus of the male pronucleus, and then the DNA is injected into it. Of course, the characters are expressed only in the next progeny. We are very hopeful that a human genetic disorder can be corrected by this method in future. So micro injection is to be used for long period. This method has the advantage that it does not need a vector, and the known gene can be injected directly into host cell nucleus. Now the next device is the shotgun or gene gun method. It is device improved after development of the micro injection technique. A small bullets of the size 1 to 3 micrometers of heavy metals like tungsten or gold are prepared and coated with DNA to be introduced into the cell. It is fired into the cell with the help of a micro projectile using high voltage discharge or with a ballistic device. As thousands of particles hit the cell present in large number, the chance of transformation is high in one effort. This method has been applied to improve a number of varieties of cereals and has great promises. This technique has also been used in gene therapy in the patients suffering from genetic disorders such as SCID. See this diagram. Here is a piston-like structure in which a blank charge is filled for discharge. Here is a micro projectile system, and the bullets are hit through this aperture onto the surface of the tissue. This is the plate for holding tissue. So the bullets will just hit the tissues. This is the apparatus known as microprojectile. Here you see the arrow indicate how the bullets come out and directly hit the plant. So they will be inserted into the leaf of plants. Now you can see a gene gun. It can be used very easily in the field. The DNA is being inserted directly into the leaves. The last technique is electroporation. This method has been applied in plants like petunia, maize, rice, wheat and sorghum. In this method, the culture cells are taken in an electrolyte medium containing genes concerned. 2 electrodes are fitted into the medium and a short electrical impulse of high field strength 1.25 kilovolt per centimeter is passed. The electricity increases permeability of the cell and the genes can enter into its protoplasm. In dividing condition, it is included into nucleus and can be inserted into the chromosome. This is the diagram. The membrane of the host cell breaks and the DNA enter into the host cell. After that, the membrane is sealed and DNA remains inside the host cell. So at the time of cell division, when there will be no nuclear membrane and the parts of chromosomes will be opened for replication, these DNA molecules can be inserted into the host cell chromosome. So you know now various technology for inserting the DNA, either using by a DNA vector, a plasmid DNA or a cosmid vector, or directly into the host cell using microinjection or the gene gun. Thank you very much.